John Stones, Dan Burn and Nico O'Reilly winning his second cap. Adam Wharton starts for England for the first time in midfield. Elliot Anderson on the bench. Jude Bellingham returns to the starting lineup. Declan Rice also in midfield. Then Jared Bowen on the right, Eberici Eza on the left, and Harry Kane up front. There is the whistle from the Italian referee, Marco Guida. England kick off. Immediately the ball is played back to Dean Henderson for a touch from him on his return to the England team, winning his fourth cap tonight, Dean Henderson. Here is Wharton, gets his foot on the ball, plays it to Jared Bowen, and the West Ham captain takes it down the right. Good looking cross, just half headed away, Rice on the edge of the area, bounced away from him. Eza's still in there, it hasn't bounced behind yet. It has now, and it is a corner to England. What a ball from Bowen.
It really was, and John Stones applauds the play down the right hand side, claps Jared Bowen. It was just half a yard, so he just spun it into the middle. It was a great ball. Jumchiti got underneath it, didn't really get the contact he wanted. Just wouldn't sit properly for Declan Rice, but good start early on.
That's Stephen Warnock. Conor Cody is back in the studio. We'll hear from him again at half-time. But England, 7 wins out of 7 in the group, not conceded a goal yet. And Albania, incidentally, have not conceded a goal at home in this group. And England, rather surprisingly perhaps, take the corner short. Rice plays it back. Bellingham then lifts it across, but got right underneath that and has lifted it all the way across the penalty area and behind for a goal kick. That was a strange one.
Yeah, it was a good opportunity for Jude Bellingham just to take a touch in the penalty area, stand the defender up in a 1v1 situation, but probably a little bit early in the game.
Albania start to play the ball out from the back, and it's fired up the left-hand side to Hodja. And now the first time that we'll hear this Albanian crowd. I don't think there are going to be any worries about the atmosphere for a home international team in this stadium, because the Albanian crowd, and I know because I've covered them at tournaments actually, have been at 2 of the last Euros, and their supporters are absolutely brilliant, because this success that this national team is having in terms of reaching major finals it's a new thing, and everyone has bought into it. And the feeling in the city as well, as we walk through the streets of Tirana, there was a real buzz about the place. They've never qualified for the World Cup. They've outplayed Serbia, one of their great rivals in this group, won away, drew at home, finished second. Serbia have finished third, and therefore Silvino will be taking his team into the playoffs. It's the draw next week. Republic of Ireland are going to be there as well, remarkably, Stephen, after their turnaround against Hungary today. And the target for Albania is to reach a World Cup finals tournament for the first time. So this is part of the preparation for that. Silvino making 5 changes to his team from Thursday night. Thomas Tuchel making 7 changes. And here we are with England's number 2 tonight, Jarell Quansah, former Liverpool youngster. He's the first Bayer Leverkusen player to, while he's at that German club, to make his debut for England. And he is also, and Ian Dennis and I have been waiting for this for quite some time. He's only the 3rd man whose surname begins with Q to play a senior men's England international, after Alf Quantrill and Albert Quixel, and the first one since 1955. Here's O'Reilly, made his debut on Thursday night. Lovely flick infield towards Eza. Eza's ball across now to Bellingham. Beautiful first-time touch, this one from Bellingham, perfectly into the path of John Stones, who's going to step into midfield in this formation when England are going forward. John Stones, Bellingham again, Bowen with a cross, comes off the Albanian defender, bounces down for a shot on the turn from Rice, but Strakosha was able to get down and save it securely to his right.
Now this has been a really good start from England, and as you say, John Stones stepping into that midfield position. It drops to a back 3 for England, and it's just making Albania really question themselves where to move, where to go. But the passing's quick, it's incisive, and it's a really good take from Declan Rice. The strike was nice, it just almost scuffed into the ground as the goalkeeper saved it, but positive again from England.
Yeah, and what we're seeing here in the Albania stadium is a strong start from England, just like Belgrade, just like at home to Wales in the friendly at Wembley, and just like Latvia in Riga last month. England are looking to assert their advantage early in this match. 0-0 it is. Going to go back to Edinburgh and to Stuart McFarlane.
Yeah, quite the contrast in atmospheres here at Murrayfield.
We'll be with
Absolute
Stuart in a
silence.
moment, but he has Hodger on the left-hand side, down the left wing, and he wins the corner off John Stones. So Albania have a corner, and listen to this. First set piece, what a noise.
Yeah, well, you said before, John, about Hodger making sure that when he goes forward, lift the crowd. He turned back earlier on. Well, he didn't turn back this time. Fancied the challenge against John Stones. As you say, wins the corner, and all the fans behind the goal have stood on their feet. They're expecting big things.
Corner then from the left-hand side. We'll be back to Stuart shortly. Here is the right-footed corner to the near post. Bourne defended it well, actually. The attempted flick on at the near post from Uzuni, but Bourne defended it and it was cleared away downfield. So apologies, Stuart. Come in again from Edinburgh.
No problem here. Scotland 24, Argentina 33. A real contrast in atmospheres because it was extremely flat here in Scotland's capital at full time. Scotland did have a 21-0 lead 5 minutes into the second half. Dempsey and 2 Ashman tries opening up a 21-0 lead, but 5 Argentina tries, the last of which scored practically on the final whistle, and a fantastic comeback. The Pumas roaring back in the last 20 minutes, and the 6th ranked side have defeated Scotland here at Murrayfield for the first time since 2002. It's Argentina 33, Scotland 24, the full-time score at Murrayfield.
Thank you, Stuart. They'll be wrapping that up on Sports Extra, and the next live sport on Sports Extra this evening, the LA Rams against Seattle Seahawks at 9 o'clock on Sports Extra on your digital radio or via the BBC Sounds app. It's a very smoky atmosphere inside this stadium. There seems to be a smoky fog hanging in the air under the floodlights. 0-0, Dan Burn with Konza and Gay not able to make the trip. Dan Burn getting another chance, winning his 5th cap, the Newcastle man. Now it's being carried forward over there on the left-hand side by O'Reilly. Kane back into the penalty area, Rice on the run, but goalkeeper Strakosha came out and smothered it well at the feet of Rice as he rushed into the box.
Well, there's a sign of the formation working again. Nico O'Reilly is meant to be at the left-sided 3 when they build up England, but such is the confidence. He steps forward, Wharton receives the ball, he decides to set off, he beats a player, then plays a little 1-2, but it's so fluid from England. It's like they've been playing this formation ever since Thomas Tuchel came in. That's how adaptable these players are.
So already today in the World Cup qualifiers, Portugal have confirmed their place in the finals next summer, and Republic of Ireland, remarkably, thanks to Troy Parrott's hat-trick and the late goal to win 3-2 in Hungary, Republic of Ireland will be in the playoffs. And in the 5 o'clock kickoffs, France have just gone 1-0 down to Azerbaijan. So Azerbaijan with a 4th minute goal from Dadashov, but France are already confirmed, having clinched their place, confirmed their place, shall we say, in the finals on Thursday night. Albania 0, England 0. There will be a 606 this evening as well, by the way, to talk about this. And I'm sure to talk about the Republic of Ireland as well, because Clinton Morrison is alongside Natalie Pike for 606 this evening. We'll let you know when the lines are open. But England in possession with Dan Burn in the centre circle. He won't be playing Newcastle's next match because he's suspended, so that probably makes sense as well. Perhaps another reason that it is Burn in the team rather than Chalobah, although I think Burn would probably have been the first choice, don't you think?
Yeah, I do. I just think on merit of the way he's played this season and the way he's played when he's played for England, I think he's been superb. I think Thomas Tuchel likes him. I think of that, again, that versatility. This system actually suits Dan Burn down to a T. It's perfect for him.
Yeah, it's been a lovely day in Tirana, blue skies, quite mild as well, actually. Here in southeastern Europe, England just keeping possession. Kwanzaa, Bellingham comes short to the halfway line, gets it, and the Real Madrid man sets off with the ball, then passes it to Bourne. Bourne now on the right, another good-looking cross from Bourne. That is cleared away by Jim Shitty, comes out to Kwanzaa, who will play it back towards the centre circle to Dan Burn. Kwanzaa again on the ball. He's, for Liverpool, really, Stephen, he struggled for regular first-team football, but he's been getting it at Bayer Leverkusen and Champions League football as well.
Yeah, vitally important for his progression. I think a lot of Liverpool fans are looking now saying, why did they sell him if they didn't get Mark Gahey through the door? But it's an opportunity for him tonight to showcase what he can do, and he's made a very positive start. The two players who are having a real effect in this game are Stones and Wharton already, with that rotation in midfield. It's been superb from those two players.
Yes, it feels like quite a long time, doesn't it, that we've been waiting to see Adam Wharton playing in the central position in the midfield for England, starting for the first time, winning his third cap. As Wharton plays it through to Kane, it rattles around there and then is cleared away on the edge of the box, back to Byrne. Here is Kwanzaa again, winning his first cap at the age of 22, and also not insignificant that Kwanzaa was part of the under-21 Euros winning team in Slovakia at the end of last season, playing in central defence. So I think that all adds to him getting his opportunity with England. We were there, Stephen.
Yeah, absolutely. He played really well when he was out there. He performed well, and don't forget, John, he was in the midst of making a move to Bayer Leverkusen at the time. His future was up in the air at Liverpool. He dealt with that situation extremely well. He has been patient, like you say, waited a long time to get his debut, and he'll be looking to make an impression tonight. 5
Live from the BBC. Albania 0, England 0. England absolutely dominating the possession, and the Albanian supporters having to be patient here, although now they get a chance to break forward. Uzuni wanted it laid back to him by Bayrami.
Sorry, John, that's a couple of balls now that Adam Wharton's just tried to fire into Harry Kane, and just being slightly off target. But what Adam Wharton does really, really well is he reacts and he sees the next pass, intercepts it. Round of applause from Thomas Tuchel, because he knows that that's the reaction that England need if they want to keep a clean sheet, if they want to be tough to play against. It's not moaning, upset that you've made a bad pass, it's reacting in the right way.
Yeah, good spot that, Stephen Warnock with us. England international, went to the World Cup. There's Dan Byrne just has to watch this ball bounce over his shoulder and then head it back to Dean Henderson.
That's the beauty of the back three and having Dan Byrne at the back. I mean, people will look at Dan and think 6'6", 6'7". Can he sprint? Can he run? He can run. He can open his legs and he is quick. So not many people will outrun him. Azuni there thought he had the run on him. He ends up being 4 or 5 yards ahead, just stretches those long legs. So this is perfect for Dan.
England in possession with Dan Byrne, who'll just roll it across to Dean Henderson. Thomas Tuchel down there. We're very close to the action here. We're in the top tier, but I mean, we're probably only about 20 yards from the touchline, almost looking down on the top of Thomas Tuchel. Here's Rice, moves over to the left-hand side and wins a corner, just plays it off the defender, Ismaili, and it's behind, and a chance for England. Now, they took the previous corner short. I mean, there's a lot of height in this Albanian defence. Wharton's gone across there to take this one. And Bellingham is still over there, should he want to take a short set piece.
I'm just interested in the position of Eza as well. I mean, if he was to receive the ball now, unopposed, he's just on the edge, left edge of the penalty area. He's got a ferocious right foot on him as well.
Interesting, Adam Wharton taking it rather than Declan Rice. And Wharton with the outswinger. Kwanzaa was after it, and there's been a foul in there, perhaps by John Stones. He's ended up on the ground. Free kick to Albania, and John Stones is pleading his case there, and Harry Kane as well. And I think the suggestion is that perhaps Stones was fouled, and I think Harry Kane, as the captain, is asking the question.
Yeah.
That maybe VAR might be interested in this.
Yeah, I think he's right to ask the question as well. It's Larshie who's got his arms round John Stones, isn't even looking at the ball and takes him to ground. And I think that the big thing there is John Stones just a little bit stronger than him, tries to grapple or push him away, and then they end up falling to the floor. But it's dangerous play from Albania.
Very dangerous. Well, it's been dismissed by referee Guida. Blew his whistle, said, "Come on, let's get on with it," in a very expressive way. Albania 0, England 0. Kwanzaa getting up for a header that bounces out of play on the halfway line. And a throw-in. Silvinho is down there in his white trainers. I was asking him last night, if he could ever really have imagined Silvinho, born in Sao Paulo, what a brilliant playing career he had, whether he would ever have imagined that he was going to end up as the manager of Albania. And he was saying that he hadn't really thought about coaching until Roberto Mancini mentioned it to him at Manchester City one day. And here he is now in Tirana and doing a very good job as Jared Bowen puts in a challenge on Hodja that the Albanians wanted as a free kick. And Kane, meanwhile, as the referee allowed that to continue, The challenge centrally from Ramadani, fouls Kane, and he's yellow carded.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it was a yellow card. I think it was a little bit too eager to get his yellow card out there, the referee. The first one was a really good challenge from Jared Bowen. I think it's just a different style of football that they're used to seeing. A little bit more contact in England, but they weren't too happy about that, the Albanian fans. But yeah, a bit harsh with the yellow.
Yeah, so a yellow card for Ulber Ramadani, the Albanian number 20, plays for Lecce. 5 of these Albanian players in this team play their football in Serie A in Italy. And the other match in this group, Serbia 0, Latvia 1. There's still an outside chance that Serbia could get into the playoffs via their Nations League performance in the last edition of that tournament, but it's an outside chance, but it still remains. Albania 0, England 0, and John Stones playing it to the right. Kane seems okay. It was just had the side of his foot stepped on there, but he's okay. The England captain, with his 26 goals in 21 appearances for club and country this season so far. As I was speaking to him last night, I said, if you carry on scoring at this rate, you're going to hit some great numbers, but he wasn't getting drawn into that. Here is Kane, 30 yards out, curls it into the edge of the area to Bellingham. Bowen tried to get there, defender got there as well, out to the edge of the area where Rice hit the shot. It bounced up for him, hit it about knee height, but the volley flew away over the top corner.
Well, this game now is just cementing why John Stones is so vital to this England squad. Conor Cody was speaking about it before the game, about his career, about how good he is as a professional and how well he plays. And this is showing everything. He's just conducting the play from a centre-back position, from a centre midfield position. He's moving players in and out of positions to create space. Really, really impressive stuff.
Albania can't get out. This England press is very good on them. Then Wharton steps in, ball bounces forward for Bowen. Bowen pulls it across. As a challenge came in on him in the full-back position, he's gone down holding his left hip, and then the ball's deflected out of play for what is given only as an Albanian throw-in on the edge of the area.
The press is brilliant, and you wonder why England have got so many clean sheets, because they defend so high. Comes from the forward players, making sure that this isn't easy for Albania or the opposition, whoever it might be. And even Harry Kane, who many were speaking about, saying he can't press. He can. You've just got to know when to press, how to press. It's exceptional for England.
Yes, as Uzuni wins a free kick in the central third, which they take quickly. Now they're pouring forward with Aliye. Hodja to the edge of the box. Oh, and then in comes Bellingham with a sliding challenge just as Hodja was looking to hit the shot on the edge of the area. I have to confess, I thought it had opened up for him, and suddenly Bellingham sliding in came from nowhere to block it.
Where did he come from?
This is the right back, Husai. He's going to have a goal, and it's narrowly over the top of the bar. Henderson diving to his right, Dean Henderson. I think he knew it was heading over. However, again, listen to the reaction that brings.
Oh, every time they step over the halfway line, the fans are on the feet. There's a real atmosphere amongst the fans here that they can get something, but they know it's going to be very few and far between the opportunities that they do get. But it just opened up for Husai. The only good thing for England's point of view was on his weaker left foot, but Dean Henderson, I think, had it covered, John.
Yes, El Said Husai, who's the Lazio right back and is also Albania's most capped men's international. This is his 96th appearance tonight, and England take back possession, and the noise just dips again inside the stadium. Albania 0, England 0. France have equalised in Azerbaijan. Jean-Philippe Mateta of Crystal Palace. Azerbaijan 1, France 1, and there will be more international football tomorrow night for you. The Northern Ireland-Luxembourg match is on Sports Extra tomorrow evening, and then a big night on Tuesday. Scotland-Denmark, don't miss that. That will be here on 5 Live, and Wales-North Macedonia will be on Sports Extra. What a massive bonus that was for Scotland last night, the Belarus draw against Denmark, and that has set that group up superbly for Tuesday. So certainly put that in your diary. Here's Nico O'Reilly with the ball on his left foot, plays it forward, and then it comes back to him on the halfway line. Yes, Kwanzaa, just the third man whose surname begins with Q. O'Reilly, just the third man to play for England who is an O apostrophe. And Kwanzaa has got the ball right on the halfway line.
Are you going to keep us waiting?
The other O apostrophes. Well,
yes.
You'll do well if you pick them out. Mike O'Grady in the 60s and Peter O'Dowd in the 1930s. Peter O'Dowd worked in a butcher's. Here's Bowen, back to Kwanzaa. Bellingham, now to the right-hand side, to Bowen again. Bowen whips it across low. That's a series of testing balls that Bowen's put in from the right-hand side. This one was dealt with well enough by Jim Sheety, and then John Stones is conceded a throw. I think he thought he might have been fouled there, Stones, but it is a throw-in to Albania just inside their own half. 0-0 the score on 5 Live.
Yeah, just a little bit of respite for Albania, slowing the game down there. I don't really think it was a foul there on John Stones, but then they just get the opportunity to reset themselves a little bit. But as you say, John, they cannot get out of this England press. They will probably have to go a little bit more direct, a little bit more long.
So we're here in Tirana this evening. Albania 0, England 0. In all of the instructions and material that we received ahead of this game, as Eza wins a free kick, bouncing ball, just nudged over really, and England have a free kick in the central third. I don't know whether you noticed, and on everything it said there will be no smoking allowed inside the stadium under any circumstances. So that's gone well. I feel like I've puffed my way through about 2 packets of Benson and Hedges. Here's Eza back into the centre circle to Byrne. Now Kwanzaa is able to just use Byrne again, and then O'Reilly, who certainly wasn't getting carried away with himself when I interviewed him after his England debut in the tunnel at Wembley the other evening. Very level-headed. Stones across to Bellingham. Oh, and the passes behind Jared Bowen. That's interesting. Jude Bellingham apologises for that, puts his hand out to Jared Bowen. Good body language from the Real Madrid midfielder.
Yeah, he just knew he'd made the wrong decision, didn't he? Played the ball ever so slightly behind Jared Bowen. You've got to know your players more than anything. Bowen wanted the ball in behind the defender. That's the strength of his game.
Throw in that Albania will take. Albania unbeaten in their last 5 internationals. They've won their last 5 internationals, unbeaten in the last 8. That's a decent run of form since they were beaten at Wembley by England in Thomas Tuchel's first match, when you might remember Miles Lewis-Skelly scored the first goal, not in this squad. Eza with a touch. Rice then, his Arsenal teammate, but just a little heavy from Rice, and it's through to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see how far Declan Rice is playing in this system as Wharton wins another ball back.
Excellent play from
Superb.
Wharton. Yeah, winning it back in centre field from Larchie. Now Bowen gives it to Kwanzaa down the right. Kwanzaa then back to Adam Wharton, just as he does at Crystal Palace. His socks a third of the way down his calves. Then the ball played out towards Eza, who's beaten in the air by Husai, and then the ball bounces out of play for what is given as a throw to England, which has been strongly disputed by the Albanians, but it is a throw into England, level with the edge of the Albanian penalty area. Albania ranked 61 in the world. England, feels like England have been ranked number 4 in the world for many years. There's a man selling beers just down in front of us. He, like many people in the stands, is wearing the little white felt skull cap that the Albanian supporters wear, the Kalesha.
Are you trying to make eye contact, John?
Very well, not yet. A little bit early for that. I'll have a pint of lager with my cigarettes, please. Here's Byrne playing the ball to O'Reilly. And then O'Reilly is able to step in again just as Bayrami was looking to take it away, and England are back in possession midway through the first half. Still 0-0, and Husai has actually gone down, so the referee has stopped play. So what have you thought of it so far, this England performance from this much changed team, 7 changes?
Yeah, I love it. I love the system. I love the way that England are playing. I think you can play that way when you're going to dominate the ball. I think when we're thinking of tournament football, in the early stages when you're in the groups that England will be up against a couple of teams that are going to sit deep, make it awkward, and outnumbering them in that position in midfield with John Stones being able to step in. I think that's everything you need. This is the perfect opportunity to test yourself against what potentially you might be coming up against, but the attitude of the players, the speed in which they're moving the ball, quite brilliant.
Yeah, and Albania, as we've said, well organised. There's a confidence about them. You could feel the buoyancy yesterday, actually, when we were in the stadium here, at the fact that they are still right in contention for a place at the World Cup. Husaj is not going to be able to continue. So Husaj is off, and Ivan Baliu comes on to replace him, another experienced player playing for a big club, Rayo Vallecano in Spain, winning his 23rd international, so a straight swap. But Husaj is being absolutely lauded. As I say, he holds the record for the number of caps for Albania, and clearly a hugely popular figure as he's led round behind the goal of Strakosha to receive treatment, yet still limping. So first change is made with 25 minutes on the clock. Still 0-0, Albania, England. Bellingham with a stretch plays it forward, but that's blocked centre field by Ramadani, who then brings it forward, and he is just nudged over and wins a free kick just near the centre circle. Ismaili it was, the central defender. France now in front, having been behind in Azerbaijan. It's Azerbaijan 1, France 2, and Christopher Nkunku has scored the second French goal.
I don't know whether you saw who made the foul then, John, because I know you were looking at your notes. It was John Stones, who was higher up the pitch than Bellingham.
Bayrami down the right for Albania, and he's followed all the way there by O'Reilly, who forces him to go back, but O'Reilly's out of position now. Cross from the right hand side from the newly arrived Baliu, cleared away, and then Rice is able to step in and pass it to Kane, who's in a very deep position and is then hauled over, but the referee's actually played a good advantage. That was a foul on Kane, but the Italian referee says to Bowen, keep playing, play on, which he does. Bowen gives it to Bellingham, surrounded on two sides by Albanians, and then is fouled, and that's a free kick, middle of the Albanian half, and again they go to the referee. And Harry Kane, I think, is also making a point about the challenge that he received.
Well, that was a yellow card, Larchie. I mean, he stopped Harry Kane from turning, then he pulled on his shirt, then he dragged him down, and we saw a yellow card earlier on for something that wasn't really a yellow card. That was a yellow card.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was the right decision to allow play to continue and play the advantage.
Yeah, great.
But
yeah, superb refereeing in that respect, because you do have to play the advantage. England had numbers going forward and they had control of the ball, but the decision should have been yellow.
So the free kick is actually just probably 10 yards ahead of the centre circle. So Declan Rice is assessing his options ahead. Either side, in it goes, just over Kane. It comes off a defender's head, and goalkeeper Strakosha can catch that routinely as he takes a couple of steps outside his 6-yard box. Ball's played in field for Hodja, who loses his footing, and then it's played forward from the back by Jim Shitty. This is one for Uzuni to chase. Dan Burn volleys it into Uzuni, and the ball ricochets behind for a goal kick to England. So Albania 0, England 0. After this, Thomas Tuchel's next appointment will be in Washington DC on Friday the 5th of December. You'll hear coverage on 5 Live and across the BBC, and we'll see what unfolds there. And then England know where they are. They'll be able to sort out the World Cup camp and finalise plans for that. So that is a big week for England. As the ball breaks forward for Bayrami for Albania. Albania looking to become the first team to score against England in this group. Cross from the right-hand side, but Hodja, it was slightly behind him, and in any case the offside flag was up, and it's a free kick to England inside their penalty area.
That offside came from a passage of play about 10 seconds before. Down on the touchline, Thomas Tuchel was going ballistic with the assistant referee on our side of the pitch, and it was the opposite assistant who wasn't given the offside, and you're just thinking, just put your flag up. It was 4 or 5 yards offside, so clear, so obvious.
England walk the ball out from the back, almost half an hour played. England looking here tonight to complete a World Cup qualifying campaign with 8 wins out of 8 for the first time. They've had chances. Strakosha hasn't been overstretched so far. Here is Kane bringing it forward, then turns and gives it back to Kwanzaa. Wharton will, under pressure from Uzuni, turn it all the way back to Dan Burn. Now Kwanzaa just sees Bellingham ahead of him. Kane comes short. Bones available on the right. In the end, actually, John Stones in there in the midfield position again is able to receive the ball, but then Bellingham is challenged, and now they break forward with Hodja again. Arba Hodja, but Stones, Bellingham, Kwanzaa all move back into position, and he has to go back into his own half.
Yeah, this is a game where I've not seen Jude Bellingham underperform so much. He's really struggling to retain the ball, to pick out passes, and that is the pressure of playing for England and trying to force your way into the reckoning. And he's probably not something new to him. I forget he's only 22 years of age.
Yes, absolutely, the England Player of the Year. Hodja takes it on through the middle, might get it back, and John Stones in the end has to sweep it off the toe of Hodja, who was a couple of yards inside the box, and that took it away over to the far side beyond the England goal for another Albanian corner.
Yeah, I know the crowd lifted there, but England weren't really uncomfortable in that situation. They had plenty of men covering in the back line. John Stones, yeah, he lashes it to safety, but he was very comfortable doing it.
So Chasim Laci will take this. He's playing in Turkey for Rizespor. Right-footed delivery, so an outswinger from Laci. Here it is towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and Harry Kane is underneath that for England to head it back out towards the corner taker, who just allows it to bounce up past his chest and out of play for a throw-in pretty much up level with the edge of the England penalty area. And Bayrami comes short, but it goes back to the halfway line.
I thought that was a real waste from Albania there. There was an opportunity where they had the corner and only one person went into the box to really compete with the header.
Ball down the left for Hodja to chase. He does get the crossover to the near post. Stones takes it down, but then he has it whipped away from him by Laci. Uzuni keeps possession, back to the halfway line. Now Aliye, the left back, infield for a touch centrally from Ramadani. That second French goal was ruled out, but France have scored, and this one stands. Akliouche has got the second goal, and it is Azerbaijan 1, France 2. France already confirmed at the first 48-team World Cup in the USA, Mexico and Canada next summer.
What a player he is, Akliouche. Oh, he is a talent.
Yeah, they don't struggle, the French squad, do they? Very talented, very deep. We've been talking about the depth of the England squad, but there are certainly challengers. Spain, just like England, so far Spain have won all of their matches and also not conceded a goal. So 5 out of 5 now, scored 19, yet to concede, and their final match is Turkey in Seville. So anyway, if England are able to win and keep a clean sheet, they'll get there first. Here's Bourne down the right-hand side. Bourne with a cross, but 2 defenders were with him, and they're able to effectively deal with that. And then Hodja receives it, but in steps Kwanzaa, wins the ball back for England. Kane was tugged back there and was checked in his progress, and it is a free kick. And again, you can tell Kane's frustrated here. My mind goes back to Thomas Tuchel talking last night. Just a little reminder to the players about, you know, you certainly don't want to get sent off in this match.
No, you don't, but that was Ramadani who's been booked, who almost just pulled on the shoulders of Harry Kane, so he's a player that's going to have to be careful.
12 minutes to go to half-time. Albania 0, England 0. And Declan Rice will take this free kick. It's out towards the right-hand side. Just looking down there, can see all the England flags hanging from the top tier and in front of the hoardings down at the bottom as well. Rice with the delivery then. Here it is, a deep one towards the back post. Byrne gets up, heads it down, but heads it to Bayrami of Albania. And they should get it away through Balyu, who's twisting and turning down there, and then hits it long to the halfway line. Nico O'Reilly brings it down, but Albania are able to dispossess him. And here's one that is overhit forward for Albania. Groans from the home supporters. And Dean Henderson's got it at the back.
It was a lovely ball in from Declan Rice from the set piece, and Dan Burn almost rose too early, and the only thing he could do was head it down into the ground. But good opportunity for England. It was well worked. Just a missed timing of the jump from Dan Burn.
England, if you've just switched onto us on 5 Live, if you're on your way home on a Sunday night back in the UK, England have had more of the match, but Albania do carry a threat. And here's Bayrami, but John Stones stepping back from midfield into the defence. He's able to take the ball off Uzuni's toe, and then Stones is having Larchie just snap away at him. And in the end, it's Larchie who gets a foot on it to put it out of play for a throw into England halfway inside their own half. Yes, so England World Cup draw at the start of December, then 2 matches in March, and then the World Cup squad will be named, and then England will play 2 more games in the United States before the tournament. Then Albania coming forward now towards the edge of the area. Ball played to the left-hand side. Allier pulls it across, and no one in red can get a touch. And the ball falls to Eza, who's able to say thank you very much and set England off on a counter-attack. Bellingham to Kane in the centre circle. Kane does well under pressure, gives it back to Bellingham. Bellingham approaching the area, little touch to Bowen. Bowen shoots low, and Strakosha makes the save. Got down well, the Albanian goalkeeper, to get a hand to it, an arm to it, deflect it wide of goal and behind for a corner.
Well, there's the best moment from Jude Bellingham in this game. That's the Bellingham that we all know and see so often. Runs with the ball, draws challenges, and he wants a yellow card for Jim Chitty. He's going to have a word with him now because he absolutely poleaxed him on the edge of the area, and then he just released the pass in time to Jared Bowen. How often have we seen that in the Premier League? Right side of the area, takes his shot with his right foot, goes across the goalkeeper. Smart save from the goalkeeper, Strakosha.
Yes, it was. Chance for Bowen. Scored only 1 goal. This is his 20th cap for England, but he's taken up a position on the edge of the 6-yard box for this England corner. Wharton with the outswinger. Kwanzaa with a header down, but goalkeeper's able to drop down and gather that quite comfortably. Just dropped on it, Strakosha, from the Kwanzaa header.
Yeah, there just wasn't enough power on the cross, enough speed on the ball to really generate any power. Good header from Kwanzaa. But he's talking before, John, about why is Declan Rice not taking the corners. Well, if he doesn't play for a game for England, you need someone else to be able to take those corners. We know Adam Wharton's got fantastic delivery, and we've seen it on a couple of occasions already.
Yes, Saka was the other corner taker, wasn't he, on Thursday night, but not in this team. He's on the bench. I think it was felt that Saka and Reece James were certainly 2 of the England players who've put in a lot of miles, shall we say, this season. So that was the balance.
Yeah, but I also think you look at the history of Reece James and his injuries that he's picked up. I think they have to manage him, look after him, adapt his training at times. Bukayo Saka, off the back of a horrible injury last year with his hamstring, also making sure that they don't burn him out and cause any problems.
Yeah, and if you didn't spot it or hear it, as Wharton does well, plays it to Kane, but Kane had to stretch for that. And then Bowen, challenge came in on him. I think it was a 50-50. Then Wharton slides in, and the yellow card's going to come out for Adam Wharton, who went in with his foot a little high there, and that's why the yellow card has been shown to Adam Wharton of Crystal Palace on his first start for England.
Well, there you go. That's why you're playing in an England shirt today, to learn the lessons of what it's like for European referees to understand what you can and can't get away with. You leave the floor with your studs just above the ground, showing you're going to get booked. It's a lesson, but it's again that physicality that he brings. I do like it. He's not shy, Adam Wharton. We know he's a fabulous footballer, but he does the other side of the game as well. Yeah,
it's a big night for Adam Wharton, because Elliot Anderson clearly is in pole position, having started all 5 of the matches this season for England. But again, he's a player who, as Thomas Tuchel was saying to us yesterday, Elliot Anderson playing the season that he is, European football, international football, and obviously in the Premier League, so given a little rest this evening. So this is the opportunity for Adam Wharton to show what he is capable of. I think when he made his debut just before the Euros last year against Bosnia-Herzegovina at St James's Park and then ended up in the squad, I think we'd have expected him to have won more caps than he has by now, but he's had his injury problems, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, and that's been probably the biggest problem, to pull out on a few occasions because of injury, and that's not ideal, but there's no doubt in the quality. I certainly think, and I know Conor Cody said it before the show, there's definitely a place for him in this England squad.
Yeah, we'll hear from Conor Cody at half-time. England coming forward. 5 live from the BBC, still 0-0. Stones jabs it up in the air to the edge of the box, and then Rice is dispossessed as it's carried forward. Throw into Albania on the halfway line. And Thomas Tuchel just standing calmly with his hands in his pockets. He's got his brown suede shoes on tonight, I noticed. So the throw-in is taken for Albania, back towards the edge of the penalty area and all the way back to Strakosha, whose dad was a goalkeeper and captain for the Albanian national team. Played forward to Hodja. Hodja now with Stones and Kwanzaa trying to get back. Hodja still going, went for the cross-come shot that skimmed off the shin of John Stones and took it wide of the near post for an Albania corner.
Yeah, well, he's been the best player for Albania. Hodja down this left-hand side, and it's nothing that Gerald Kwanzaa's having a problem with. He's dealing with him quite well, and John Stones is as well. He's just the outlet. He's the one who's able to carry the ball forward without carrying too much of a threat. It's more, it looks better on the eye than it actually is, if that makes sense.
Yes, Hodja, same name as the former Albanian dictator, but this Hodja plays for Dinamo Zagreb and has scored 4 goals and picked up 4 assists this season, and you can kind of see why. Aslani is going to take the corner for Albania to the back post, but getting up and heading it away, John Stones. Back to the halfway line for Albania, and then Bayrami. Aslani again, just down in front of us here. He gets that back from Hodja and then chips it forward, and it is actually headed along the dead ball line by Bowen, but it did come off the England defender and it did bounce behind before Bowen got there, so it's another corner to Albania from the left-hand side. They've actually now, I make it 4 corners to England's 3, so Albania just edging that count, and Aslani will take this, the former Inter midfielder. He scored the goal that won the match in Andorra on Thursday night. It was a tough night for them. Aslani plays it in, headed away by Harry Kane on the edge of the 6-yard area, then back to Aslani, and Aslani, Eza is in front of him, in comes the cross, attempted glance, but Rice was able to block the glance from Jim Shitty, and England clear it away downfield. Less than 3 minutes of the first 45 to play. France have now stretched their lead, having been 1-0 down. Kefren Turam has scored, and it's Azerbaijan 1, France 3. Eza finds Bellingham, little bit of space on the edge of the area, lovely change of feet, Rice with a shot, but straight at the goalkeeper, and in any case the offside flag was up.
Yeah, and that is what Albania have changed. They've started going a little bit more direct, and they're trying to get runners off the first ball when it goes long. However, Dan Burn intercepted this ball and it just left Albania light at the back. Lovely turnover from Eza into Jude Bellingham, and he just tried to reverse the ball, but just went ever so slightly too soon. But that is really smart play from England again.
Albania 0, England 0. If you haven't heard, the England team tonight: Dean Henderson's in goal, Kwanzaa, Stones, Byrne and O'Reilly the back 4, Wharton, Bellingham and Rice, Bowen, Kane and Eza are the team that we're watching. And if you missed it, Alex Scott is on the bench for England tonight. Bowen coming in from the right-hand side, gets it back from Kane, and then under pressure is able to play it to Rice, slightly behind him. Rice turns it back infield, but the offside flag was up, and it's a free kick to Albania. Yes, with Kwanzaa, Esri Kwanzaa not able to travel, and Mark Gay, that meant that there wasn't going to be an issue today about who was going to be left out of the named 23 for the qualifier. So there is a chance we might see Alex Scott later, depending on how things pan out. We've already seen Nico O'Reilly make his debut during this international window, and of course Jarrell Kwanzaa tonight as well.
Yeah, I hope we do, because we saw him in the under-21s in the summer. I thought he was exceptional. I think he deserves that opportunity. His form for Bournemouth's been exceptional as well, so Yeah, he'll be desperate. He'll be itching to get on tonight.
0-0 as Albania take this long downfield. Stones heads it away, then Kwanzaa steps in. As the foot went up, Kwanzaa got his head to it first, and Wharton plays a pass through the middle. That was a classic Adam Wharton pass. That didn't find its target this time, but lovely economy of pass, isn't he? He is very sharp and quick of thought.
He really is, and it was almost like he was thinking, why is Harry Kane not seeing that? Was Harry Kane not really just ready for that? Again, it's getting to know players and understand what type of passes they can play.
Albania play it out to Bayrami on the right-hand side. Still goalless here. Bayrami, though, gives it away, and Eza. And Albania have committed men downfield, and we've got white England shirts pouring forward. Eza still in possession, taking it deep inside the Albanian half, and then taking his eye off the ball. Bayrami got a touch, then it was given away. 1 minute of added time, as you might be about to hear. Bowen, infield to John Stones. Stones really has, I know that was the instruction, as we mentioned before the game, to step into the midfield, but he's certainly done that. 87th cap tonight for John Stones, so that's one more than Kenny Sansom, who I noticed received his legacy cap the other evening, which is, I think, a superb idea from the FA to hand out the legacy caps to every single England international. That Thuram goal has been ruled out, so that's back to 2-1 France, isn't it, in Azerbaijan. Jude Bellingham, only seconds of the first half left to go. O'Reilly, England still gently probing here. Stones, turned infield by Bowen, but cleared away, and I think that will be it. Yes, the referee puts his whistle to his lips, and there we are. A goalless first half. As I mentioned, England have not let a goal in at all in this campaign, and Albania have not let in a goal at home, so perhaps we shouldn't be overly surprised that it's 0-0 at half-time.
No, I think we knew it was going to be a difficult game, and Thomas Tuchel knew it as well when you spoke to him last night, John. There was no surprise to him that Albania were going to put men behind the ball. He said they dominate the ball. They have done both those things, and that's the way the game's panned out at the moment. But what we're seeing is England are quick, they're inventive, they've got energy in the legs, and it's just being patient in this game to try and break down a stubborn Albania team. Very good. Yes, the players just disappearing down the tunnel, so no goals in the first half. England with more of the play, and I see that France are now 3-1 up in Azerbaijan. An own goal by Mohamed Aliyev means it's Azerbaijan, France 3, but no goals here in Tirana in the Fug. Albania 0, England 0.
Stephen Warnock as well will let them go and rest their voices after the battle they had pre-match with the stadium announcer. So it is Albania 0, England 0, Serbia 0, Latvia 1 in that group, although Albania already have the runners-up spot in the group sewn up. They are going to be in the playoffs for the World Cup come March. As John was saying, France 3-1 up away to Azerbaijan in Group D, and Ukraine 0, Iceland 0. The way that stands at the moment, that would see Iceland finish in the runners-up spot in Group D. Connor Cody's been watching the first half of Albania-England with us. What did you make of it, Connor?
Similar to what John and Stephen were saying, Ali. I think it was, listen, England have dominated possession, and I'm loving the way they're trying something different. I'm loving the way they're adapting. I'm loving the way they're obviously already qualified for the World Cup, and Thomas Tuchel is working on different things. I love the idea of John Stones going into midfield. Listen, I waxed lyrical about him before the game. I love him as a footballer, and we certainly know we can do that because he's done it under Pep Guardiola at Manchester City as well. So I'm really enjoying the way that they're trying something new. Can they unlock this defence, this stubborn Albanian defence? We'll see in the second half, but how patient they are in possession, it's something that I'm enjoying watching at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, there's, as you say, Connor, there's nothing on the game per se in terms of we know where these two teams are going in this group, but actually we're getting so close to the World Cup now, and you'll have been in exactly this situation. Every second is vital, really, in terms of preparation, isn't it? It's
huge, Ali, and I think for me, seeing what Thomas Tuchel's doing, like I said, the big thing, you always want to win games, of course you do, and England should never be going into games to lose or to draw. You've always got to win games, of course, but I just love the way he's trying something different. I heard his interview before the game yesterday, I think it was, about players have got to adapt. Now we're seeing that with John Stones, we're seeing that with people now, we see it when Nico O'Reilly comes into midfield, we're seeing it with Kwanzaa playing right back but starting as a right centre back in possession. So I just love the way he's trying something new. He's really getting ready for what's coming next summer, and we're going to need different ways to play, and this is certainly one of them.
Yeah, and in terms of sort of brightest moments, obviously there was Bellingham's pass into Bowen, the goalkeeper made the save. What's sort of in terms of the individuals out there, Connor? Anyone who stood out for you?
Yeah, no, listen, I mentioned John Stones. I think he's been really good. I think he's the one for me who steps into midfield and really controlling the game with Adam Wharton. That was a good chance for Jarrod Bowen. You see it obviously in the Premier League, what he does for West Ham, out on that right-hand side, shift onto his right foot and right across the keeper. It was a good save. I actually think Albania have been really good. I actually think they've been okay. They've countered really well. It's a good game for England to really test themselves, but I'm hoping for a good second half now, like we all are.
OK, those are the thoughts of Connor Cody. By the way, you can have your say on 606 tonight. That is coming up after 5 Live Sport at 7:30. So second half commentary on the way live from Albania. We'll take it through until 7:30. No better man than Clinton Morrison to be taking the calls alongside Natalie Pike this evening as a former Republic of Ireland international. We are going to chat about their fantastic win this afternoon in Budapest after the 5 Live News with Richard Foster.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Ali. Good evening. People in Monmouth have spent the day clearing up after flooding caused by Storm Claudia. Many homes and businesses have been left covered in thick black sludge. Martin Newell is a Monmouth County Councillor.
I just sort of spoke on the phone to a resident in tears. He's lost everything, all of his possessions. He's lost his home, so we're going to try and help him to rehome him. The businesses they're just not going to recover before Christmas. It's dreadful.
The Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood says plans to overhaul the asylum system are part of a moral mission to end illegal migration. They'll mean that people granted asylum will have to wait 20 years instead of 5 before they can apply for permanent settlement. A major air and sea search for a missing Royal Navy crew member has been stood down without them being found. They were last seen on board the RFA Tide Surge off the northwest coast of Ireland on Friday night. 5 people in their early 20s, including a woman from Scotland, have been killed after a car crash last night in County Louth in the Republic of Ireland. 3 others were hurt in the collision between 2 vehicles near Dundalk, halfway between Belfast and Dublin. A man's been arrested in India over an explosion which killed 8 people and wounded 20 others in Delhi last week. The suspect lives in Indian-administered Kashmir. And snow's expected over higher ground in the north of the UK by Tuesday. It's only expected to reach between 5 and 10 Celsius across much of the country. A change of wind direction is bringing colder Arctic air our way.
5 Live Sport.
The Rugby Union Autumn Internationals.
Unbelievable scene to shell-shock Twickenham.
Rugby Union's elite clash in a bid to close out the year in style.
Oh, what a try!
Keep up to date with all the insight and analysis with the Rugby Union Weekly Podcast.
The Rugby Union Autumn Internationals.
It doesn't stop.
Listen with the BBC Sounds app.
This is 5 Live Sports with Alistair Bruce Ball.
Listen on the BBC Sounds.
Commentary on the way of Albania against England, 0-0 at half-time in Tirana. The most dramatic football of the day so far has certainly come at the Puskas Arena in Budapest, though. The Republic of Ireland came from 2-1 down to win 3-2 against Hungary. The winning goal in the 96th minute was also the third goal in a Troy Parrott hat-trick. Don't forget, he's the guy who scored 2 in the win against Portugal on Thursday as well. And that victory books them a place in the World Cup playoffs at the beginning of next year. Dan McDonnell, who's the football correspondent for the Irish Independent, was actually there in Budapest to witness it. And I've seen on social media after the game, Dan, you posted quite simply, that might just be the greatest thing I've ever seen happen in a football match. And I've seen the pictures now of the winning goal and the scenes afterwards. Just fantastic.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's. I think it's just, like, obviously football takes you to all sorts of different places and emotions, but I think it was just so completely unexpected. I think that's the main takeaway from this. It was just, look, Ireland came into this week and they needed, the way things panned out, to really beat Portugal and Hungary. Portugal at home and Hungary away to get into a World Cup playoff. A scenario that would have required the best back-to-back results that an Irish team has arguably put together ever, particularly when this would be widely regarded as not an especially strong Irish side relative to maybe previous generations. So, I mean, there's so many firsts that have happened here. I think that's the first competitive away hat-trick for an Irish player ever. And beating teams of comparative rankings and so on to Portugal and Hungary. Look, there's obviously a great amount of interest in Ireland around the national team, but it's been a very low ebb. And I'll be honest, I don't think anyone saw this coming.
Well, so the question then obviously Dan is how on earth have they done that in the space of less than a week to put those two performances back to back against those teams? What's happened there?
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to process because Ireland lost to Armenia in September 2-1, very badly beaten. An Armenia team who I think lost 9-1 to Portugal today. So if you kind of do your form lines, I know it's obviously, it's not quite a perfect science, but it doesn't really make a huge amount of sense. I think what did listen, if you want to break it down, there's a couple of things that probably have happened that make a little bit more sense. Seamus Coleman was left out with that squad in September. He's come back in to provide, I think, real leadership to the group. Troy Parrott didn't play in those games in September either, and he's become a bit of a talisman this year as well for Ireland. But really, I think it is just one of these things where a team has come together. And, I know Connor's there as an ex-player. They just get into to get into the situation that there's nothing to lose here. Like there's nothing to lose here, and maybe sometimes they've been thinking about permutations and what this means and what that means, and it's been more straightforward that they realised like if they want to play at a World Cup, and some of them might never get this opportunity again, they've changed the formation, gone a little bit back at the 5, a little bit more conservative, but they've been braver in terms of how they've attacked, and they may not have been the better team. Today, Hamer Hallgrimsson, the Ireland manager, has said that afterwards. He said, listen, there was maybe a little bit of fortune, but when it came to the last 10 minutes, they were braver. And that's what got them over the line.
And in terms of what it means, I mean, not just the celebrations after the goal is scored there, Dan, or even the celebrations on the final whistle, which, as I say, if you can go and find them, I urge you to do so. But actually, also, if you can, watch the interview with Troy Parrott after the game. Have you seen that, Dan, how emotional he is about what he and the team have achieved? And let's not forget, this is to get into the playoffs. This isn't qualification for the World Cup. It's to give them a chance to get there. But his emotion, wow.
Yeah, no, I did see that interview, and I think a lot of people were emotional watching it. I think the context of it is that this team has probably been described in very negative terms, like as a team that maybe has got into the habit of losing. That has been the narrative of the discussion around the games. Like Darragh O'Shea, before the Portugal game on Thursday, was speaking about you either win or learn, and we've been doing a lot of learning, and they face questions about maybe whether is playing for Ireland, can they cope with the pressure of playing for their country? Because they've had a lot of near misses in recent years, and people just think, this group of players, they just can't win big games. They can't rescue themselves from difficult positions. So they've completely flipped that around in the space of 2 games. And I think the outpouring of emotion that you're seeing is almost born out of relief that they've written a different story now for themselves, because there was a story being written that this team just can't get it done. The weight of the jersey is too heavy. That was the line that was used by their manager potentially after September. And now, well, they're floating home.
Wow, yeah. Thank you, Dan, for joining us on 5 Live Sport this evening. What a win. What a week for the Republic of Ireland. So Dan will go and enjoy his evening with the Irish fans. They will have to wait until March to play in those World Cup playoffs. Semi-finals, potentially a final, one-legged games. Troy Parrott, the hero today, with the hat-trick and the winner in the 96th minute. On to the rugby union. Scotland blew a 21-point lead at half-time to lose to Argentina in the autumn internationals. Argentina scored 3 tries in the last 10 minutes of the game to eventually run out 33-24 winners at Murrayfield. So that's now back-to-back defeats for Scotland after their loss to the All Blacks last weekend. Here is the Scotland captain, Sione Tuipulotu.
I didn't think I could be as disappointed as I was last week, but I think this is more disappointing. And I basically said to the boys after, we're going to have to take a pretty hard look at ourselves, and it's pretty gutting, to be honest. I know that's not us. We've got to jump out to a 14-point lead, and we lose concentration and give away back-to-back penalties and march them all the way up the field. And they've got some good athletes that can run with the ball, and if you're going to give them time, space, and free shots at it with a penalty advantage, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So it starts with ourselves. We're going to have to take a good look at ourselves, genuinely take a good look at ourselves, because next couple of days is going to hurt. It starts with me. I'm the captain of this squad, and I take responsibility as well. I've got to put my hand up and we've all got to look at ourselves, I think, most importantly, because today is not good enough. We should not be losing at home.
Yeah, I mean, if you are going to become the team you want to become, this isn't good enough, is it?
Not at all, mate. And we just got to be plain and simple about that. There's no grey area. We were not good enough tonight. And we got to cop it as players, because that's it. The players that were chosen to put and were picked today didn't get the job done. And I think, we deserve to probably, cop it a little bit and take a good hard look at ourselves.
Straight talking then from the Scotland captain. Scotland at home to Tonga in the autumn internationals next weekend. Argentina, who won that game at Murrayfield, they will play England at Twickenham. In golf, Matt Fitzpatrick's won the DP World Tour Championship in Dubai today. He beat Rory McIlroy in a playoff, with McIlroy in the process clinching his 7th Race to Dubai title. And Luke Littler will become world number 1 for the first time after booking his place in the Grand Slam of Darts final in Wolverhampton. The world champion's 16-9 victory over the Netherlands' Danny Noppert means he will overtake rival Luke Humphries to top the PDC world rankings. So we'll be taking you back to Tirana shortly. Second half of Albania-England is on the way. Currently 0-0 in the game. A lot of changes made by Thomas Tuchel ahead of the game. Connor Cody's been watching it with us. In terms of the message, Connor, from Thomas Tuchel at half-time, just more of the same and patience, and don't get frustrated.
Don't get frustrated. Certainly don't get frustrated. I think the game's there to be won. I think if England show that patience and that little bit of quality in the final third, I'd love to see a couple more chances. Of course, we always sit here wanting more. But I think what he's seen up to now will be good. But I think going forward, he'll want to win the game, of course. He will. He's a competitive manager, and any England manager will want to do that. But I think in the final third, taking that little bit of time to finish that final chance, I think is big for England going forward.
Yeah. In terms of that Republic of Ireland win as well, Connor, so you'd seen the goal before me. I don't know whether you've seen any of that sort of post-match reaction, but it's remarkable what Dan was saying there. For a team to come together like that when kind of all hope is almost lost, and then produce back-to-back performances like that is stunning, really.
I'm so happy you've mentioned it, because Dan mentioned him there and he's one of my best mates, but Seamus Coleman going back into that squad is vital. Honestly, is absolutely vital. He missed a couple of counts before the last one, I think it was, and he went back in and he mentioned leadership, but also quality. Seamus is known for leadership, but he's one of the best guys you'll ever meet, but also quality on the pitch and what he brings to that Ireland national team. He's been absolutely huge, and yeah, listen, to see them celebrating after the game was massive, Ali, wasn't it?
Yeah, well done to the Republic of Ireland. And Clinton Morrison, former Republic of Ireland international, taking the calls on 6:06 tonight, which will start at 7:30. Before that, though, second half commentary of Albania-England comes live from Tirana in the company of the former England international Stephen Warnock and our football correspondent John Murray.
Yes, Albania kicking off and England very quickly back in possession. So 0-0 as the second half begins here. The teams that will finish first and second in this group, and England bringing the ball forward with Dan Burn. And then O'Reilly will take it infield, the Manchester City youngster, and give it back to the halfway line. So Albania, no further changes at half-time, with Strakosha in goal, substitute Baliu at right back, then Ismaili and Jim Shitty the central defenders, Aliye at left back. In midfield, Aslani with Larchi and Ramadani either side of him, Bayrami on the right, Hodja on the left, and Uzuni through the middle. And England, as they started the match, with Dean Henderson in goal. Pickford's on the substitutes bench with his England record 10 clean sheets. And England playing it forward nicely, Bowen through the middle. Rice got a touch to take it through into the penalty area past Ismaili, and then collided with the Albanian defender, but he's all right, he's back on his feet, just flexing his right shoulder. So Dean Henderson in goal, a back four of debutant Kwanzaa, Stones, Byrne and O'Reilly. Then Adam Wharton, his first start for England, with Bellingham and Rice either side of him in the middle, Bowen on the right, Ezra on the left, and Harry Kane through the middle. And former England defender Stephen Warnock sitting just to my left here in the Air Albania Stadium, watching the home side come forward with Bayrami, and then the cross from Baliu. Little flick at the near post from the arriving Larchi, but he couldn't get the contact that he wanted on it, and actually the ball just trickled through to Dean Henderson to pick up.
Yeah, it was a decent break though, wasn't it, from Albania? They've tried to create most things down the width of the pitch and trying to get crosses into the penalty area. Larchi there just couldn't quite get the purchase on it he listening to Ali ask the question to Connor at half-time, what do England need to do? They just need to find that one killer pass in the final third. But that might not come until the 88th, 89th minute, but as long as it comes, then you'll be happy just to get a 1-0 and get out of here, because this is a difficult game for England. It really is. They're a very well organised team.
Yes, I think Thursday night and this match, with England having already qualified, I think they've been quite effective tests for England, because they're the sort of matches England are likely to face in the group stage, and then potentially the last 32, as it will be at this World Cup, maybe even the last 16 as well. Those sort of awkward, well-organised teams that they play against, with good footballers who play for big clubs.
Yeah, and the big thing is the game's moved on now, so we've got better coaches in charge, coaches that understand the game, and they know how to set teams up, they know how to frustrate, and we're certainly going to see that at the World Cup. And as you say, John, this is a perfect test.
3 minutes gone in the second half. It's Albania 0, England 0. If you're on the move, you can always listen to us via the BBC Sounds app, 5 Live. Listen to the live radio, or pause it, rewind it, listen again if you've ever at one of our matches and want to hear what it sounded like in the 5 Live commentary. You can do that as Wharton steps in on the halfway line, but Albania keep possession on this dry evening, even though we're all the way down here in the southeast of Europe, just 1 hour ahead of UK time. And what I must say is a very pleasant city. It gets busy in the city centre, doesn't it? It doesn't take much to cause gridlock in the middle of Tirana, but there's a just very close to where we are, there is the city park with a huge lake in the middle of it. Mother Teresa Square is just a goal kick away, as is the presidential palace, as Albania bring it forward with Aliye. Now Hodja cutting in, he's going to try a shot, that Henderson diving to his left, got a good sight off and was able to push it away to his left and behind for a corner.
I think that's the first time that we've seen Hodja produce a moment of quality at the end of a good run. This time he tries to bend it into the far right corner as he cuts in on his right foot. Henderson always comfortable, the crowd were excited, but there's no chance that was going in. He was more than comfortable there, Henderson.
Yeah, Dean Henderson winning his 4th cap, the FA Cup winning Crystal Palace goalkeeper. Albania take this corner short. Here's Aslani, who gets it back on the right-hand side. O'Reilly's with him. Left foot cross into the area. Stretch of the right leg of Declan Rice. Takes that back towards the halfway line, and Albania go all the way back to their goalkeeper. Yes, Dean Henderson. As the ball is hit forward by Strakosha, it ends up with the goalkeeper at the other end, Henderson, who made his debut back in 2020, but did play twice last season. He started in Finland, which was the last time, incidentally, that England conceded a competitive goal. It was when Henderson played in that match, and then played in the friendly against Senegal at the end of last season. England lose possession. Bayrami's able to take it away down the right wing, passes the ball to the edge of the area, punches with a shot, but it's straight at Henderson. What a chance that was for Albania to score the first goal against England in this qualifying group, but he hit it straight at Henderson.
Yeah, well, he saw the headlines, didn't he? He thought that was his moment. Hodja couldn't compose himself, couldn't relax his body. Very tentative as he hit the ball, hit it right down the throat of Henderson. But that was a big opportunity for Albania to take the lead, and they should have taken the lead, and it was an error from Dan Burn down in front of us. The first time pass was onto O'Reilly. He took an extra touch and then it just closed the pass off, and it was intercepted. And that's the warning sign for England.
Yep, all of these Albanian fans with their red shirts, with the black double-headed eagle, the scarves, I think they were winding themselves up to go absolutely crazy there. But the finish wasn't there. This two-tier stadium, modern stadium, it was only finished in 2019, and as I say, it's right in the middle of the city centre. There's a huge hotel actually which towers over the stadium here. Looking up at it, I can see lights on, and I'm sure there'll be people up there watching down, a bird's eye view as it's passed forward to Hodja. What an opportunity that was, really opened up. He takes the ball past Kwanzaa, but then is impeded. He just tugged back by Kwanzaa, who was trying to recover. So that's a free kick to Albania in the central third. Just having a better spell, Albania.
Yeah, I think they understand the system they're going up against now, and when they press high England, where there are vulnerabilities, and that's a good lesson for England and Thomas Tuchel as well.
Aslani floats a pass over the top. Dan Burn came forward and headed that down. Here's Eza, who wins the throw-in 10 yards inside his own half. We feel that there's an opportunity, don't we, on the left-hand side going forward. Anthony Gordon's not in this squad because of injury. Marcus Rashford got his goal the other night, and I think Thomas Tuchel really likes having Rashford in the squad.
Great options though, aren't they? I mean, you can almost pick who you're playing against and say, well, what best suits that player going up against the opposition player in that position, in the right side of position, and great options to have.
And others may come into it.
Absolutely.
Over the course of the season. Jack Grealish. Everton have a good second half to the season. Then he could force himself into the picture. We'll see. Doesn't feel like that at the moment, but things can change. Ball back to the edge of the area. Strakosha. And Thomas Tuchel is going to speak to, he said, between 55 and 60 England players over the course of the coming weeks, just to make them feel that they're still a part of this, which again I think is good management. I mean, it's the kind of thing that Gareth Southgate did as well, certainly. Here is O'Reilly in the centre circle, gives it back to Rice. Rice turns and uses O'Reilly. Wharton, quick touch there from Wharton under pressure, sure-footed. Stones, now Kwanzaa down the right-hand side, but he's challenged, and the ball is won back by Aliye. Did well there. Albania play it forward. In steps Stones, just got to the ball first ahead of Uzuni. Now through the middle, Jude Bellingham. Bellingham turns, but quickly closed down. Passes it to Eza. Eza, left corner of the penalty area. Eza, who's been forced away from the box, and Albania have dropped everyone back in there again. Still 0-0 if you've just joined us on 5 Live. Stones flights a ball into the penalty area diagonally to Eza, who takes it down. Eza clips it across, but that's headed up and away. But only to Bowen, who's juggling the ball, wouldn't come down from inside the penalty area. Then it was nicked away from him, and actually, as he was juggling it, Stephen, he juggled it against an arm, and it's a handball, and it's a free kick to Albania.
Yeah, lovely play from England there with the change of the way that they approached that attack. John Stones looking a little bit longer, going direct into Eza. Great chest control there. He just dinked a lovely ball, but Harry Kane was caught on his heels. If he just stepped in, it could have been a simple header for him, but England have just come back into this now with a little bit more quality.
Yes, and I'm sure Thomas Tuchel will be thinking about his change. He's not there on the edge of the coaching area, so he's out of our sight completely. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if the discussions were going on, because we've played 55 minutes and the subs are out. Who have we got down there? Saka is there. Phil Foden, obviously. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he comes on again.
Morgan Rogers, Jed Spence.
Yep.
And then Elliot Anderson, which I'm quite surprised at, because I thought it would have just been an opportunity to completely rest him up.
Yeah, but the fact is that Adam Wharton also is playing European football, isn't he, with Crystal Palace in the Conference League. England with the ball at the feet of John Stones. Plays the ball here to his left to Dan Burn. Then Rice under pressure. Declan Rice started both matches, the Arsenal man, and we know what they're involved in at the moment. And indeed, this time next week, or a little bit earlier this time next week, if you listen to 5 Live, you'll hear Declan Rice in the North London derby, the women's North London derby earlier. Well, next Sunday 4:30 it's Arsenal-Tottenham, as the ball is played for Kwanzaa. Albania just able to clear it away. Comes out to Bellingham. Bellingham angles up there, takes it down brilliantly and shoots at the angle where Strakosha is able to make the save. They're appealing for offside. I'm not sure. No, just a corner.
No, it's not offside. It's absolutely stunning from Jude Bellingham. The ball in behind to Eza. Eza takes a great first touch, but then he just gets it caught under his feet ever so slightly, where he can't just bend it into that far corner. Well, there's the signs from what Jude Bellingham can do on a football pitch. It's just out of nowhere create something special.
So it is a corner from the left-hand side for England that Wharton will take. To Eza, short, then back to Wharton, stabs it in, little glance header from Bellingham as he was falling backwards. He glanced it actually into a defender, and then it's launched away downfield by Rami. It's only by Rami and O'Reilly. And Bayrami's able to keep the ball, the Rangers man. As Bellingham comes into the challenge, that was quite a clatter with Larchie. That's given us a free kick. Bellingham still lying on his back with his hands on his face. Larchie leans over him just to check and see that he's okay. I think he is.
Yeah, I don't think it was anything in the face. I think it was just more winded. Bellingham caught him in the mid-drift, which is probably just took the wind out of his sails a little bit, but it was great defending by Nico O'Reilly, and Eza getting back into to make sure that Bayrami couldn't get away, couldn't get in a 1v1 situation.
Still 0-0. The other match in this group, Serbia have equalised, and Veljko Paunovic in his second match in charge, they were 1-0 down to Latvia, but Alexander Katajas scored, and it's Serbia 1, Latvia 1. If you haven't heard the news, if you've been busy today, remarkably, Republic of Ireland did win in Hungary with a Troy Parrott hat-trick, a late winner, and they're going to be in the playoffs. So Portugal have confirmed their place after a 9-1 win against Armenia. Bruno Fernandes scored a hat-trick in that. So Portugal will be on their way. And it is still Ukraine 0, Iceland 0, which would mean a playoff place for Iceland if it stays like that. Here, 0-0, Kwanzaa with a cross, that's intercepted on the edge of the box, then Kwanzaa puts in the challenge, but Hodja is able to get a little touch to Aslani, and then Kwanzaa goes down as he ran away with Hodja, and Kwanzaa has gone down with his arms over his face. The play has been stopped, and as the referee, I think the referee's just going to have a chat with Hodja, who's pleading his innocence in the way that only footballers can. Hands together, hands apart, hands together.
I don't even think that's a foul. I think that's Hodja using his arms and his body to keep distance between him and Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa, maybe, dare I say, experience from playing in the German league, buying a free kick.
So free kick for England. But Declan Rice will wait to take. The England substitutes are just returning to the dugout, so they're just disappearing under the low tier in front of us. Rice swirls this in high. Byrne gets to it. Then the shot, a bouncing effort from Bellingham on the stretch, hit it down into the ground, and it bounced up and skimmed over the top of the crossbar.
Should score. He should score. I was wondering whether the offside flag went up, but it didn't. Dan Byrne did excellently at the back post. He gets up, wins the header against Ismaili, and then it falls to Jude Bellingham. He actually slips as he's about to take the shot, and it ricochets from his right foot onto his left and then into the ground and over the bar. That was a big opportunity.
Still 0-0. England and Albania have played each other 7 times before, all in World Cup qualifiers, and England have won the lot. So I think were Albania to get something from this match, I think it would still be lively in central Tirana later this evening.
I think it would be.
0-0 it is. What have you spotted?
Saka about to come onto the pitch.
Okay, and now we've got another stoppage. An England man has gone down. I think John Stones has been caught there. As the ball was hit downfield, Stones has taken a bang, and he's just being... He's sitting up now, but he's taken a knock there, quite possibly on his head. Or was it the way that he fell?
Yeah, I think he's just fallen awkwardly, hasn't he, on his back and opened himself up. But he's got his hand on his left ankle. Whether he's just fallen awkwardly on that ankle as he's dropped to the ground as well, that'll be a concern for Manchester City and also England.
It will be a concern. Manchester City, when the Premier League resumes, they play at Newcastle 5:30 on Saturday tea time, so that's a 5 Live commentary as well this coming weekend, which will obviously be a test. Stones and Byrne playing together as central defenders today, the Newcastle and Manchester City men, and it's actually Phil Foden who's stepping forward first, and yes, it is Declan Rice, as we suspected. With just over an hour played, Declan Rice substituted as he was on Thursday night, with all of the commitments that Arsenal have. Eza as well is going to leave the field, and that looks like Jared Bowen also making his way towards this side of the field. So Phil Foden is going to come on for his 47th cap, Bukayo Saka for his 48th, and actually Bowen was just coming across to receive some instructions. It's just a double change.
Yeah, now Bowen's playing on the left hand side. That's the change. So Ez has gone off, and then it allows Bowen to be on this left. Saka into his usual right wing position. And good to see John Stones is back on the pitch, running very comfortably as well.
And rather interestingly, after Thomas Tuchel said last week that Kane, Bellingham and Foden would not play together for England in the same structure, they are now on the field together, playing in a slightly different structure. As Hodja carries the ball forward, looking for a pass through to Uzuni, but Dan Burn did his job. John Stones seems okay, Stephen, as the ball's flicked out of play by Aslani for a throw into England. Seems okay.
Yeah, he does. But Dan Burn did extremely well there with his recovery run, making sure that he got back into position, cut the pass out. It was really good defending from Dan Burn. But it's interesting, isn't it, John? It's how you word things.
Go on.
Thomas Tuchel worded it very well, didn't he?
Well, he did. Yeah. And so now you have, it's like a sort of well, it's a line of four, isn't it, with Kane as the centre forward, Bowen on the left, then Foden, then Bellingham, and then Saka. So that's what he's having a look at here. So it is a throw-in for Albania. Serbia are now winning against Latvia, so Alexander Stankovic has made it Serbia 2, Latvia 1. 0-0, 5 live from the BBC, 6:06 will be on later. That's a poor pass out from goalkeeper Strakosha. He's giving it straight to Bellingham. Now here's Foden, who has not scored for England, Phil Foden, in his last 19 appearances. He's due one. Bellingham flicks it through. Kwanzaa, Saka with a chance, but from the angle, he didn't hit it anything like as he would have liked to, and it was straight at goalkeeper Strakosha.
Yeah, two of the best moments in the game have come from passages of play have gone through Jude Bellingham. Lovely ball into Kwanzaa in the penalty area. He turns very quickly and just puts it on a plate for Bukayo Saka. But whether he's just not quite into the flow of the game yet, that was a great opportunity for him just to open his body up and bend it into that far corner. Poor finish.
Still 0-0. Albania win a free kick in the central third. So England still yet to concede in this World Cup qualifying campaign, but whether they're going to make it 8 wins out of 8 is certainly not an absolute given, because this Albania team are a different prospect. It's for a good reason that they have finished second in the group, as the ball is turned by Bayrami for the arriving Baliu, but O'Reilly was able to get there first and plays it off the substitute, the Rayo Vallecano man, and it's a throw into England halfway inside their own half. O'Reilly back then to Dan Burn, who took quite a heavy touch and then couldn't keep the ball in, so it's a throw in to Albania for their encouragement. This is down over to our right, so eyes right here towards the section of the stadium here where almost 2,000 England fans are. Not absolutely full, their section. I can see empty red seats in there. The red backdrop right at the top, at the back of the stadium, as the throw-in is taken and the cross comes over from Bayrami, but too close to Dean Henderson, who's able to gather that in, and it remains 0-0. Stephen Warnock.
Yeah, I think it's just been interesting in this second half that since the changes of Foden coming onto the pitch and playing where Declan Rice was, John Stones hasn't stepped into midfield. It's almost been left to Nico O'Reilly in the left back position now to add that number into the midfield area.
England
mistake.
Giving away to Hodja, but England, Bellingham's trying to get back, still going with him. he's not got much support in a red shirt, and Bellingham, he's beaten him. Hodja beats Bellingham. Now he's up against Stones, gets the cross in, comes off the head of Byrne, taken down by Bayrami, who controlled it, went to the volley, hit it wide of the top corner, and I can see Albanian fans in front of us motioning that he should have crossed it, not gone for goal.
Yeah, you just get that sense every time that they go forward, and all the great work has been done by Hodja on that left-hand side for Albania. But it's just that when that final moment comes, it's like they're so excited, they can't relax themselves, they can't compose and get set properly. And I know it's such a big occasion for them to try and beat England.
Yeah, only one man has scored a goal against England in a senior international. And as the ball's given away, Henderson comes out, makes a good tackle. They're saying that he fouled him, and Uzuni, or is it Hodja, has ended up on the ground, but I think it was a good tackle from Henderson. VAR will look, but my feeling was that Henderson caught that cleanly, and the referee is talking to VAR, and he's put his palms over one another, so I think that's been immediately dismissed. Someone's thrown a water bottle on the far side. England bring it forward. Foden's going to have a go, which he does. It's blocked on the edge of the area by Ismaili. Still England in possession, through to Bellingham inside the box. Kwanzaa's gone down off the ball. Saka gets a touch. Hodja's back on his feet. It's Larchi who was the player who went down. He's back on his feet. But the Albanian fans, you can hear they think there's been an injustice. I'm not so sure. On the edge of the area, O'Reilly with a flick, Bones in, Saka's in, Saka squares it, but this hits it. Couldn't find Kane, and Albania are able to clear. Big chance. Now Larchi again for Albania in the centre circle. Suddenly it's gone end to end. It's turned into a cup tie. As Balliu uses Bayrami, Balliu goes down, and that is given as a free kick to Albania. And I think that's debatable as well.
Well, John, you said he tried to square it, Saka. He doesn't. He just gets it horribly wrong, mishits the ball, comes off his heel. We've just seen the incident with Dean Henderson again, with the tackle from Larchi. It's a brilliant tackle from Henderson, wins the ball, takes out the player ever so slightly, but the Albania fans are adamant that it was a foul. It wasn't. Then they want the ball kicked out. Well, they don't have to kick the ball out because it's not a head injury. And then Larchi got himself up to his feet, got himself back into position. The Albania fans still continue to bemoan the decision of England not kicking the ball out.
Yeah, and it was dismissed very quickly. I know I was watching the referee, the video assistant referee, Marco De Bello, obviously was very quick on it, saw the challenge and immediately said no, there was no clear and obvious error there. There is another Albanian player down, and his teammates are taking the opportunity to bring on the water bottles. And Silvino, in his blue suit, showing a good few inches of ankle there, is very animated with all of the various gesticulations. And play is going to resume with a free kick for Albania. And now you can hear the crowd stoked up by what they feel is an injustice. And the player who is down, the left back, Aliye, is having to leave the field on the far side. So Albania will be playing the next 30 seconds or so with 10 men. 20 minutes to play. It's still Albania 0, England 0. BBC Radio 5 Live. And Aslani takes this forward. It's glanced on by Uzuni, but Harry Kane's able to take the ball away, and then there's a foul on Adam Wharton, and that's a free kick to England. And the referee, got to be a strong referee in these conditions with an atmosphere like this. The Albanian fans behind Dean Henderson's goal are now becoming increasingly animated with those little white caps on their heads. They're bobbing up and down. Flags are swirling. This is your classic hostile atmosphere away from home in an international in southeastern Europe.
Well, this is what I expected it to be from the start. I thought it'd be very hostile from the very beginning, but they actually applauded the England team out onto the pitch, which I thought was very strange.
It was strange. but it was actually quite nice to see, wasn't it? O'Reilly turns and spins on the halfway line, and O'Reilly now carries it forward towards the edge of the area. But that's good work from Bayrami to tackle him back, and now O'Reilly's out of position if Albania can capitalise on this, but Aslani overhits his pass way downfield, and England are able to take possession again. You've just switched on, England have had more of the game, but that chance for Bellingham, chance that Eze had in the second half, a couple of opportunities for Declan Rice in the first period. Jared Bowen had a shot, Kwanzaa with a header. 2 for Saka. Should have scored both of them. Yeah. And England trying to make inroads as it's played over the top for Bellingham, and Jim Sheety is forced to play it behind as the two of them went shoulder to shoulder. So it's a corner to England from the right-hand side. And just looking down here to my right, Elliot Anderson is coming on, Stephen, and Marcus Rashford as well. Thomas Tuchel just gives those two a gentle pat on the back. So not now when England have got a corner, but very shortly Anderson and Rashford will be coming on. So Bukayo Saka is taking up the corner-taking duties. 0-0. And Saka out there on the far side in the corner. Jared Bowen in the 6-yard box. Then a line of England players: Kwanzaa, Bellingham, Stones, Byrne and Kane all together. Saka, little steps from him. Then the left-footed ball into the near post, comes off an Albanian head and it's deflected in. Kane was there, right next to the goalkeeper with a little touch to force it in. And Harry Kane runs away, and England are in front and on course now for 8 wins out of 8 in this World Cup qualifying group, as Kane makes it number 77 in an England shirt for the captain. Albania 0, England 1.
Yeah, it's not the greatest of corners from Bukayo Saka. It should have been dealt with at the front post area by the left back Alia, and he doesn't deal with it. He gets the slightest of touches on it, flicks it into the path of Harry Kane, who cannot believe his luck. He's at the front, he's at the in front of the goalkeeper, unmarked, simple tap in for Harry Kane. He doesn't care how it gets to him. All he cares about is the goal, putting England ahead. And a perfect time to score for England with just 15 minutes or so on the clock to go.
The only question was whether Kane got it cleanly, but he did. He did get it cleanly. The goalkeeper just didn't get there. And VAR might look at that, but the goal will be given. And that is Harry Kane, who is England's top scorer. You won't be surprised to hear in this campaign. And that is his 7th goal in these World Cup qualifiers. So the captain has been leading the way, and with Rashford and Anderson coming on for Wharton and Bowen, Thomas Tuchel makes changes 4 and 5, and at the same time Silvinho is also going to make a change, with Armando Broja now of Burnley coming on to replace the Rangers man Nadim Bayrami. So it looks as though Broja is going to continue playing. No, he's not. He's gone through the middle, Broja. It's been a big talking point in Albania whether Broja should be playing on the wing or through the middle, but Uzuni's come out to the right, and Broja is going to play as the centre forward. But England leading by 1-0 in front of a crowd of 21,459. As you heard, Harry Kane making it 27 goals in 22 appearances for club and country this season. And England bring the ball towards the halfway line, and the England fans, you can hear them singing. Erling Haaland will have a chance to add to his total tonight. It's almost certain, isn't it, that Norway will confirm their place in the finals this evening because of their vastly superior goal difference to Italy. So Italy will be in the playoffs. They're playing tonight in Milan, Italy against Norway. Here is Rashford into the action for the first time. Rashford goes to the right, then goes to the left, but then overhits the cross, and it's out of play for a throw into Albania, who are 1-0 down here. The first goal that Albania have conceded at home in this campaign.
was just watching Thomas Tuchel when that goal went in, and for a couple of minutes when it went in and after, he was just talking to the back line. I want you more compact, I want you sticking together more.
Oh, England. Saka's into the penalty area, tries to pull this back to Foden in the middle, but just didn't get the contact on that either, Saka, that I think he would have liked, and Albania were able to clear for a throw.
Yeah, I actually thought the goalkeeper Stokosha did well there to come out, and it was very difficult for Bukayo Saka to get any real good contact on the ball. Just made sure he was in his eye line.
So England scoring from a set piece. I don't think it's too revolutionary, if I can use that word here in Albania, to say that set pieces are going to be very important at the World Cup, and that'll be a major part of England's preparation. Kane, England's goal scorer. Foden takes a deflection. Rashford's going to try and get there, but actually Baliu just got there first and was able to turn it out for a throw just next to where Reece James is now warming up down there. So Marcus Rashford coming on for his 68th appearance for England and taking up the position on the left-hand side here. England will throw just down in front of us. Lines are open for 6:06, by the way. It's Natalie Pike and Clinton Morrison tonight, and you'll want to be talking to Clinton after the Republic of Ireland's feats in Hungary, getting themselves into the playoff position. So 08 085 909 693 to join the UK's most popular football phone-in. Call on that number. It is free from mobiles and landlines. Text 85058 at your standard message rate, or you can get in touch now on social media. Hashtag BBC 606 for 606 later. So someone's just thrown a cup onto the field down near where John Stones is, but fortunately nowhere near him. A paper cup, I should add. There's Elliot Anderson, who is coming on for his 6th cap, so 5 starts and now 1 substitute appearance. Anderson of Nottingham Forest gets this back, just plays it to his right to Jude Bellingham, and then Anderson again through to Saka, and England knocking it around confidently. They've got that goal now, that 1-0 lead, and they're on course to make it 8 wins out of 8 without conceding a goal, although that's given away rather carelessly by Bellingham, and Breuer has taken it on, and then Bellingham puts in the challenge and brings down Breuer, and that's a yellow card for the Real Madrid man.
He just got caught showboating on the far side. Jude Bellingham trying to nutmeg Breuer. Breuer, we know how quick and strong he is, gets away from Bellingham. Bellingham says he wins the ball, and I think it's the manner in which he leaves the ground and hooks his legs around Omanyo Breuer. He's not allowed to do that. I think the yellow card's harsh. I think a foul's enough, but the referee sees it a different way.
Yeah, well, in normal circumstances, if it had come earlier in the campaign, that would have been a suspension for Jude Bellingham, but those cards will not roll over.
Interestingly, straight away Anthony Barry out of the dugout calls back Morgan Rogers.
Yep, so Rogers is going to come on with Bellingham on a yellow card, so the yellow cards don't roll over in terms of the suspension. Free kick to Albania, played in. Jim Shitty under pressure from Stones, got his head to it but could only get underneath it and head it up and over the crossbar. Yes, but point being, yellow cards do not roll over for a suspension in the World Cup finals, but a red card, as we know with Cristiano Ronaldo, would. So they want Bellingham off the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing with Bellingham as well, he's been caught on the ball probably 3 or 4 times tonight, so knowing that he might not be quite having his best game in terms of possession, and it's probably the right thing to do.
Albania 0, England 1. Harry Kane scoring in the 74th minute. There's a challenge there by Bellingham, on Bellingham, and it's a free kick that is given England's way. He just actually ducked his head down, and Ramadani came in with a challenge. Free kick England.
I don't think that was a foul either. I think he made the most of that, shall we say.
Morgan Rogers is ready to come on. He has played in every Thomas Tuchel match, Morgan Rogers, so he'll continue that run, whether starting or as a substitute. Obviously, more recently a starter. So only Rogers and Rice, they're the only 2 who've played in every Thomas Tuchel match, this being his 10th match in charge won 8, on course to win 9 out of 10. The only defeat, the friendly against Senegal in Nottingham at the end of last season. Here's Rashford on the left-hand side. Rashford onto his right foot, kills it. Kane with a chance, heads it in. It's 2 for England and 2 for Harry Kane. And that should be it. That should be the win. That should be 8 wins out of 8 in this World Cup qualifying campaign for Thomas Tuchel's England. Albania 0, England 2.
Yeah, I mean, what a ball from Marcus Rashford this is. Receives the ball on the left-hand side. As soon as it leaves his boot, I'm thinking, this is hitting Harry Kane's head. Then it's all about how he directs the ball, where he can find the space in the goal. He heads it back down across the goalkeeper. But interestingly, John, when that went in, Jude Bellingham looked back across to the sideline. He saw Morgan Rogers stood there, and he looked across, and he is absolutely furious that he's coming off the pitch. He's looking now at Thomas Tuchel saying, why? Why am I coming off? He's absolutely livid.
Interesting. Just watching him now as he's walking back to the halfway line. There's a little shake of the head there, and he's looking across, waiting to see.
His number's about to come up. It is.
He's got his hands on his hips here. There it is. Jude Bellingham's number 10, and I think the word I would use would be reluctantly. He sets off with his head down, and then Phil Foden comes across and shakes his hand. Harry Kane as well. Dan Burn comes and shakes his hand, and then Jude Bellingham turns and applauds towards the England fans.
This will be interesting.
It will be interesting. Thomas Tuchel's waiting there on the edge of the coaching area. There's an exchange with Morgan Rogers. And then there's a shake of the hand from Thomas Tuchel with Jude Bellingham as he walks by.
Yeah, he's not happy at all. He's absolutely furious. He's done the right thing, though, Jude Bellingham. He's walked off. He's shook the manager's hand. Yes, he'll be disappointed. I don't think he's had the best of nights. I think the manager's protecting him there by actually taking him off the pitch, because he could end up getting a red card.
That was by a distance, the most sensible course of option. Most sensible course of action, wasn't it, to take him off on a yellow card, and remove the possibility that he could get a second yellow card for whatever reason and be suspended for the first match of the World Cup.
Yeah, I think Jude Bellingham's thinking about it in a different way. It's like he's thinking, that's my performance, that's why you're taking me off. Well, it's not. It's because of the yellow card, and it's the protecting the player.
Albania have made another change, I'll tell you in a moment. Rogers works it to Foden. Foden in the area, could have opened up for him there. Back to Rashford. Rashford trying to find a position. Foden's come out here to the left-hand side as well, and he uses O'Reilly. O'Reilly back centrally to Anderson. Anderson works it with pace, but past Saka and all the way through for a goal kick. Yes, the former Fulham midfielder Adrian Payaziti has come on. He made his debut in London at Wembley earlier in the group. He was born in London, and here he is now on what is his 23rd birthday, winning his 5th cap against England. So he's on into the midfield. Only played one match for Fulham, but with his current club Hajduk Split in Croatia, making his way in the Albanian national team. Ukraine have taken the lead against Iceland, and that means with that scoreline, Ukraine 1, Iceland 0, Ukraine would finish second in the group, and they would go straight into the playoffs after that group concludes. Iceland, a draw would be enough for them to go through into the playoffs in second place. But Albania 0, England 2, and now I suppose in the remainder of this match, with Harry Kane having scored both goals, and this is for Harry Kane the 14th time that he has scored 2 goals or more in a match for England, which is a record. He took that off Nat Lofthouse, actually, when he scored 2 goals in Riga last month. He's on a hat-trick, and it looks as though he's going to play the whole match. It would seem, as Byrne is bringing it forward and giving it to Foden, and back it goes into central defence. Question now is whether England can hang on and make it 8 clean sheets out of 8 in this group. It'll be the first time England have done that in a World Cup qualifier. Did keep 10 out of 10 under Roy Hodgson, actually, in the qualifiers for Euro 2016. Foden, crossfield pass. Rashford takes this down. Rashford, 2 defenders in front of him. uses O'Reilly to his right, and now Elliot Anderson. I noticed gaps appearing in the stands, the home sections, the two tiers all around this modern stadium. I think they are heading off to the many attractions of central Tirana. Many of the home supporters, they think with that second goal, that's probably it. Rodgers, though, is dispossessed. And Albania will come forward. Ramadani, but England are able to win it back. And with 3 minutes of the 90 to play, Harry Kane, who has now made it to 78 goals for England, and at the age of 32, as he is now, if he carries on at this rate, you know, it must be realistic that he could make it to 100 goals for England.
Well, as well, with the expansion of the World Cup, more games within a World Cup, he'll be absolutely delighted to see that. I know a lot of players are thinking, don't want too many games, but he'll be licking his lips at the opportunity.
He certainly will. Foden playing it out to Saka on the right-hand side. Kane puts himself into position. Then Kwanzaa, Anderson, Elliot Anderson to O'Reilly. Kane in the D now, tries to turn it forward. It's blocked on the edge of the box, but Breuer can't take it on. And Thomas Tuchel continuing to applaud on the edge of the coaching area. He's liking what he's seeing here in the closing stages of this match, as Albania are able to play it away up towards Breuer, but in steps Dan Burn to get the foot in ahead of Breuer. Here he is again, though, the tall Burnley striker, yet to open his account for Burnley as it's worked forward. And then Breuer gets it back on the left-hand side. Uzuni making ground through the middle. This is Breuer against Burn. He's also got the substitute Payaziti there with him, and then the challenge comes in. It's actually Breuer's ended up in a heap down there. I think he's okay. Actually, the medical people are coming on to look at him.
He just twists awkwardly on his ankle, doesn't he? I don't think why there was no one round him, and that's a real concern for Breuer. Hopefully it's not a knee issue and more the ankle, but now he's just got his hands on his knee, which is a little bit of a concern. It was awkward.
He has played relatively little football for Burnley so far, just 2 starts, 5 substitute appearances.
Oh, he looks in agony, John.
Yeah, and he is struggling there. And we saw it the other night, didn't we, with Ilic of Serbia, who picked up a knee injury, just twisting, just an awkward twist, just caught his boots in the ground. Yeah. And let's hope that this is not too serious for Armando Breuer.
Yeah, one of the things I was watching, John, was the applause from Thomas Tuchel, and more often than not, the applause has been when there's been a turnover of possession. I think he'll be delighted. He knows England are a good team on the ball. It's more what they do off the ball to protect the defence, to make sure that they work hard and understand why they're doing it, to make the game easier for themselves. And I think he'll be absolutely delighted with what's happened. There's a problem here, John. Breuer's just gone to stand up and he's hit the deck straight away.
Yeah, he's felt something there, and he's now lying on his back, and this doesn't look good for him, I'm afraid.
Call for the stretcher straight away.
Stretcher is coming on, 4 stretcher bearers, all in red, with white circles and red crosses on their back. There'll be 5 minutes of added time. We're moving into that now. But,
5 minutes of injury time.
It looks like it, without wishing to try and give an amateur diagnosis, it does look as though it could be a knee problem, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it looks like it could be quite a serious one as well. That is a real concern for him, because he's had a lot of troubles with injury, hasn't he, throughout his career and at such a young age.
Yeah, he has. It's been a faltering career, hasn't it, Armando Breuer, who could have been England qualified because he was born in England, in Slough. But, great things were expected, weren't they? Chelsea, Thomas Tuchel knew him well at Chelsea together, but wasn't able to make it there. Been on loan at Southampton and Fulham and Everton last season as well, but again had his injury problems, and now unfortunately he's been lifted onto a stretcher, and we'll have to see what the diagnosis is later. But clearly it's a blow first and foremost for the player, but also for Burnley as well this season, and with teammates either side of him both trying to wish him well, the stretcher bearers are taking him off over to the far side of the stadium, and I'm just wondering, Albania are not making a change. They made all 5 substitutions now.
I think they have, yeah.
I think they have, haven't they? So they're going to play the remainder of this match with 10 men after that unfortunate injury to Armando Broja, who just caught his studs in the pitch, and it would appear has twisted his knee. So in this rapidly emptying Air Albania stadium, with England leading by 2-0, England looking to play out the final minutes now, as they will become the first European team not to concede in a World Cup qualifying campaign of more than 6 matches. So that is the milestone that England are going to achieve here. It's the first time that they've won 8 matches out of 8 in a World Cup qualifying campaign. That Roy Hodgson team for Euro 2016 did win 10 out of 10, but this is the first time in a World Cup qualifying campaign, and it will be another clean sheet as well if it stays like this for them. So the record there, it'll be 10 clean sheets in a row. The record's tumbling. Rashford playing it through into the penalty area for Foden. Foden back to Rashford. A little touch from him, and then a shimmy from Rashford. I think Albania's race is run, isn't it? That injury to Broja as well has taken a lot of the atmosphere out of this stadium. And when he was down, many more people from the home sections have chosen to head off into the Tirana night. 2 minutes of added time to play. There'll be a little more than that as Anderson is able to find a pass to the left-hand side to Rashford. Rashford across to Kane. Kane could be in for the hat-trick. Still going. Shoots across goal. Little deflection on that, I think, was there? As there were bodies in front of him, defenders dropping in, trying to block it, and eventually the ball is out of play for what he's given as.
John, I just can't believe he didn't hit it. He tried to take a touch and sit the defender down, and he could have just slotted it into the goal. It was a great opportunity for Harry Kane to get his hat-trick, and I can't believe I'm sat here telling him what to do with his goal record, but he got that one wrong.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to make absolutely certain, wasn't he? Went out for a throw-in the end. It was deflected out from the Kane shot. Still 2-0. Rashford now. Rashford shooting! Oh, that was narrowly wide. Strakosha, the goalkeeper, diving to his left. And Rashford suggesting he's having a laugh with the referee, Rashford. I think he's suggesting that he got a touch somewhere there. Whether the goalkeeper got a touch, I doubt very much.
No, he's looked dangerous, hasn't he, Marcus Rashford? It does actually nip off the top of one of the Albanian defenders, John, as it goes through.
Yeah,
that's right. It was a corner.
Yes, he was. So England are going to become only the 5th European team in modern World Cup qualifying to win all of their qualifiers. And this run of clean sheets as well, they will equal the European record of 10 competitive matches without conceding a goal, which is held by Spain and the Netherlands. So England just seeing it out now with Anderson. We'll hear from Thomas Tuchel hopefully during the course of 606 08 085 909 693 to speak to Natalie Pike and Clinton Morrison tonight, who are waiting for your calls right now. Here is O'Reilly, and then forward Anderson, Morgan Rogers with a touch, then forward towards Foden. Foden scampers away, good energy from him. Foden still going, trying to find a position, but then is challenged by Jim Sheety on the edge of the penalty area. I make it the 5 minutes are up. It's only a matter now, Stephen, of how much longer Marco Guida is going to add on. But another good performance, another very efficient, another professional performance by Thomas Tuchel's England team.
It's been superb, it really has. It's been one of those performances from England which they'll be absolutely delighted about. Clean sheet, scoring away here in a difficult environment.
England still searching for a third goal. Saka, who's had a couple of chances since coming on as a substitute, not able to add to the 2 recent goals that he's scored. And then Kane's going to try a shot from 22 yards, but was slightly off balance, and that's it. The final whistle goes on this England World Cup qualifying campaign that has been so impressive. And here in Albania, winning by 2-0, England have won 8 out of 8 and have not conceded a goal in the entire campaign. Group K has been a piece of cake for England and Thomas Tuchel. and they have qualified in grand style, Stephen Warnock.
Yeah, they've been superb, absolutely brilliant from start to finish throughout the group stages, but tonight it was all about application. It was about the trust in what Thomas Tuchel is setting this team out to do, trying to keep a clean sheet, which he knows is a process, as he talks about, and the performance allows that clean sheet to happen, but you've got to be clinical at the other end, and when you've got Europe's informed striker, or one of them, you're going to win football matches, and it's clinical from Harry Kane, but a solid performance from England.
Yeah, England completing a World Cup qualifying campaign with 8 wins out of 8 for the first time. They're the first European team to qualify for a World Cup without conceding a goal in a campaign of more than 6 matches. And they have kept that 10th competitive clean sheet in a row, which equals the European record. So, good win. Harry Kane leading the way. 2 goals for him in the second half, in the last 20 minutes of this match, to take his total for England to 78. So the England captain leading from the front, and England winning here in Tirana against Albania by 2-0.
Thank you, John. For a moment there, I thought we were striking up with Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas, which would have come a little bit early, but I think Thomas Tuchel will be absolutely delighted with another England performance this evening. As John was just saying there, lines are open already for 606. We'll be chatting to Natalie Pike and Clinton Morrison very shortly as well. Number to dial is 08085 909 693. But let's get some immediate reaction to another England win. Connor Cody is still with us here on 5 Live Sport. Connor, we were chatting before the game there about possibly the frustration for some in the squad that Harry Kane starts every game, plays every minute. Why in games like this that don't mean too much doesn't he get a rest? He scores both goals and England win the game. So there's your answer.
Of course it is, and he plays every minute of every game because he does the job. He's an outstanding player, he's an incredible captain, and playing for his country means an awful lot to him. So listen, it's a pleasure to watch him play, but I thought England were top draw tonight. We're in a real good place. I think the team, I think the squad, the manager is in a fantastic place going into next year. And listen, he broke Albania down, and it was hard at times, it was tough, but I thought the subs who come on were outstanding as well. Ali, I thought they were really good.
And John, interestingly, I know it was nuanced when Thomas Tuchel said this, but both goals came when Bellingham, Foden and Kane were all on the pitch together.
How funny. Yes, I didn't realise that. Yeah, and there was clearly going to be a structure. There were going to be structures in which those three can be on the field at the same time. There's no question about that. But just not in the structure that England have played so well in most of the matches this autumn.
Yeah. First time Jude Bellingham has started for England for a while, Stephen, and we obviously talked a fair bit about his performance during the game. There was obviously frustration when he came off late on, but he played most of the game. How do you think he did?
I felt he played like a player who feels like he was playing for his place, with a pressure on his shoulders that he hasn't played in before, or well, he probably has, but not in an England shirt. I think there's been a feeling that Jude Bellingham will be a starter for England for years to come, and then suddenly the emergence of Morgan Rogers and the way he fitted into the style that Thomas Tuchel wants has suddenly thrown up a lot of questions. And I thought he tried to force a lot tonight, which isn't his usual game. He's very relaxed, he plays simple football, but then we just saw a couple of moments of magic where he finds passes that perhaps other players can't find. So a little bit of a mixed bag. I didn't like the response when he sort of threw his arms up when they scored the goal. He wasn't happy at all, but then is that what makes him the player that he is? It's a very fine balance.
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it, Connor? Stephen picked up on that straight away, and we don't want to make too much of a deal of that, but actually I thought there was a flash there, wasn't there? There was a flash of why and a slight flash of insolence, but actually very sensibly contained that, got involved in the goal celebrations, came off, took the applause from the fans, handshake with the manager, and off he went.
100%, but I think Stephen's exactly right. I think he's playing like he's under a bit of pressure at the minute. I really do believe that. I've just watched what Stephen watched, like we've all watched, and I can feel that as well. And this is the one part of the team, I think, a player of this quality, a player what brings Jude Bellingham brings to the team. And I think this is the one part of the team at the minute that's a little bit of a cloud over it. Not in a negative way, but we're all asking questions, are we? Who's he going to go forward? And he's got to get the best out of Jude Bellingham. He really has, as a manager. He's got to get the best out of him. But listen, it's hard to complain at the minute because the way England are playing, take the Jude Bellingham situation out of this. They're playing some fantastic football, but yeah, I just feel like the Jude Bellingham situation at this this moment in time is just the one we're all asking questions about. The rest of it seems absolutely brilliant moving forward.
Yeah, I know John's heading off.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go on, Stephen.
Could you imagine Cole Palmer was in the squad as well? They all want to play in that number 10 position and all want to be part of that or in that position. Well, there's even more pressure. But that's a great thing for this squad. And sometimes you're going to have to put your ego to one side and say, do you know what, if we win a World Cup and I pay 20 minutes here and there, and then some games I'll start and it'll be another player who plays, so be it. But players have got egos and they want to play every minute.
Yeah, great one for 606 tonight. Who would you like to see as England's number 10, the first choice starter in that role? 08085 909 693. I know John is heading down to do the interview shortly. You made the point, though, John, towards the end of the game as well. Sort of recurrent themes in there. Importance of set pieces. England's first goal comes from a set piece from a Saka corner. And just strength of the squad again, like the players that Thomas Tuchel can bring on. Foden, Saka, Anderson, Rashford, Rodgers, and the Rashford cross for the Kane goal was I mean, Rashford was only on very briefly, but he is a man in form at the moment.
Yeah, he is with Barcelona, and it does feel like he's warming up, doesn't it? And getting back into the groove. And we know that Thomas Tuchel likes Marcus Rashford. I remember very well Rashford having a brilliant night for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United against Thomas Tuchel's PSG when they turned that around. And that's probably had a lasting effect on Thomas Tuchel, you know, when a player does that against you and you know what their potential is. So that's him. But I think also from an England point of view with the set pieces, obviously those Arsenal set piece takers, Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka, are part of the England setup, so that speaks for itself.